The Dacians lived in a region called Dacia, which had its geographic center in Transylvania and reached as far as the Danube, the Black Sea, and the Tisa rivers. In the center of Dacia were the Carpathian Mountains. As a result, it roughly relates to Romania's modern nations, as well as portions of Moldova, Bulgaria, Serbia, Hungary, Slovakia, and Ukraine. So the topic of today's video is the history of Dacia. To give Romanians access to contemporary, dependable, and reasonably priced vehicles, Dacia was founded in Romania in 1966. It was given the name Dacia after the name the Romans gave to the area that is now Romania. A strategic change was made in 1999 when Renault acquired Dacia. Thus, Dacia joined the Group Renault family and entered a new era of quality. Between 1942 and 1945, the first facility in the region was constructed as an addition to the IAR aircraft manufacturing facility. Marshal Ion Antonescu, Romania's conductor during World War II, ordered the construction of the new facility in the Colibasi-Pitești region, with a monthly production capacity of up to 600 aircraft engines. The construction was finished in 1945. The Romanian Railways took over the site after the war, and it later produced the Dacia plants. The Uzina de Autoturisme Pitești UAP company, which later became known as Dacia, was established in 1966. In 1968, the primary Dacia factory was opened at Colibasi, today known as Mioveni, close to Pitești. Dacia inherited the Renault 12's tooling and fundamental designs. However, it was decided to produce the Renault 8 under license as the Dacia 1100 while the tooling was being prepared. 37,546 Model 1100 automobiles were built between 1968 and 1972, with just a small aesthetic alteration to the front in early 1970. The 1100S, with twin headlamps and a more potent engine, was also made in extremely small quantities and used by the police and in auto racing. The Uzina de Autoturisme firm, which later became Dacia, was established in 1966. Dacia inherited the Renault 12's tooling and fundamental designs. However, it was decided to produce the Renault 8 under license as the Dacia 1100 while the tooling was being prepared. 37,546 Model 1100 automobiles were built between 1968 and 1972, with just a small aesthetic alteration to the front in early 1970. The 1100S, with twin headlamps and a more potent engine, was also made in extremely small quantities and used by the police and in auto racing. In preparation for the 1969 August 23rd parade, the first Dacia 1300 rolled off the assembly line and was displayed at the Paris and Bucharest auto exhibitions. The car's modernism and dependability pleased Romanians, and waiting lists were consistently long. The 1300 and the 1300L were the two variations available by 1970. The 1301 Lux Super, which debuted in 1974, had novelties such as a heated back screen, a radio, both side wing mirrors, and a more opulent finish. This was only for the nomenclatura of the Communist Party. Many of the new ideas being developed by the designers were shrouded in secrecy. The 500cc Mini Dacia and many Dacia 1310 models were intended as prototypes. Some of them, like the Dacia 1310 Maxi Brake, are still in use today. The web forums for Dacia are replete with information about the rare and unusual vehicles the company made in the 1980s, and enthusiasts of the brand highly appreciate these vehicles. The station wagon was available as an 8-seater called the Maxi Brake, which had doors that were about half a meter apart. Dacia Service Pitești produced 1012 of these vehicles. Following the discontinuation of 1302, the Dacia 1304 pickup and dropside variants were introduced in 1982. In reality, they had started to launch in 1981. The 1320 model first appeared as the Dacia 1325 Liberta in 1991 and was manufactured until 1996. When the final quad-lamped model was built in 1992, the whole Dacia lineup received the CN1 front end from 1320. To revitalize the model lineup, new commercial vehicles were introduced, and the sport model was eliminated due to poor sales. 1309 was an estate with a tarpaulin in place of the boot, while 1307 was a double-cab pickup. The automobile was a cross between an estate and a pickup, and did quite well on the Chinese market. The cars from 1992 to 1994 are oddities because, despite efforts to update the model lineup, many of the quad-lamped model's stylistic cues can still be seen. Consequently, the final dashboards from the 1983 design were used in 1994, even though a new dashboard had been used on various model ranges since 1987. Similar to the CN1 restyling, which removed outdated features including a rubber rear spoiler and a curve upward at the C-pillar, it was not done consistently. Within the industry, the 1994 makeover was referred to as CN2. A horizontal metal line in the grille served as a visual cue for a reprojected front end. The radiator grille, front and back bumpers, and headlamps were all new. The top-of-the-line automobiles had niceties like body-colored bumpers, rear head restraints, a radio cassette, hubcaps, and the ever-present CN1 dashboard, this time in black plastic. The lower models got a new interior dashboard. This model wouldn't last very long because the CN3 type was introduced in 1995. The radiator grille and the trim level were essentially the only variations. The utilitarian Dacia pickup met the same end on December 8, 2006. Despite numerous upgrades in recent years, including the addition of a 1.9-liter diesel engine, the dashboard from the Dacia Silenza, and wheels secured with 5 rather than 3 studs, Romania's entry into the European Union effectively stopped the production of the outdated models. The Dacia Logan assembly lines will be upgraded and lengthened to enhance output. The Dacia 1300 and 1310 easily overtook all other vehicles on Romanian roads during its more than 34 years of manufacture, which resulted in the creation of more than 2.5 million units. A vast number of people had honed their DIY repair or modification skills. To make older cars appear more contemporary, or simply because newer parts were more readily available, several of them had newer front ends grafted onto them. As a result, authentic early 1300s are relatively rare, with prices for the best-preserved versions constantly rising. Another well-liked hobby is tuning Dacias, albeit the level of quality, safety, and dependability of the finished result is questioned by the fact that much of the labor is done at home. The other Dacia models continued to be worked on in the interim. To make Romania the center of automotive development in Central and Eastern Europe, Dacia joined the Renault Group as the third brand in September 1999. As a result, investment grew. The first indication of this was in 2000 with the release of the Supernova, an upgraded Nova with a Renault engine and transmission. The top-tier model included a CD player, motorized windows, and air conditioning. Despite the concept's obvious datedness, sales were fairly strong. In 2002, Dacia sold 5,300 vehicles, accounting for about 50% of the market in Romania. With a revised interior and the option of an airbag, the Dacia Silenza replaced the Supernova in 2003. However, this was simply intended to be a band-aid solution to the saloon model shortage before the launch of the crucial Dacia Logan and to acquaint workers with the challenges of producing a model suitable for Western European markets. In 2005, production came to an end. Since the first 1,300, the Dacia Logan has been the model with the most sales. It was unveiled in August 2004 amid significant media interest, and despite criticism of its design, it quickly rose to the top of the sales charts in Central and Eastern Europe, as well as Russia. Many nations sell the Logan, occasionally under the Renault name. In the NCAP crash tests, it received 3 stars. With a 43% share of Dacia's overall sales in Romania in 2015, it is still by far the most popular vehicle in that country. In 2005, a diesel version was also released. Due to its anticipated debut price, it was dubbed the €5,000 car before going on sale. Denis Lavaux assumed leadership of the Dacia Lada business unit in January 2021. Renault said that it would combine the Lada and Dacia brands into a new business entity as part of a company reorganization. To address more market sectors, it also revealed a new Dacia logo and a product offensive for the Dacia brand. It's all about today's video. Share your views in the comment section and also subscribe to the channel Car History.